to the Wager Makers Podcast with Web and Smitt.
Brick by brick, baby. I'm freaking out, Web.
I was told there'd be no man. Stupidity is going to be an asset. What a bunch of crybabies.
Hello, my name is Steve Smith, and this is Rob Weber. Say hey, Web.
Hello, what's up, Smith?
What's up, Web? I'm Smith, that's Web, and we are the Wager Makers, and this is the Wager Maker Podcast. Thank you all for joining us. Web, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, the conference championship games went off this week. We have our Super Bowl teams set. NHL going on. NBA, college hoops is coming down to, down the stretch here. We have Super Bowl coming up. Lots of stuff to talk about with the Super Bowl. We'll be making our picks next week, but we'll go in depth about the games this weekend and what we think about next week. MLB Hall of Fame came out with some news this week that we'll talk about. The usual, some pro athletes bitching and moaning about how tough life is. We always enjoy getting on that. And so, Webb, this is Wager Maker Podcast number 79.
79, Smith. Like we said, brick by brick, and time flies when you're having fun. Another week, here I am in the garage, all bundled up. Love it. Wager Makers Express is gonna be coming by here in a minute. 79 again. I didn't touch my phone. We spoke about this just a couple minutes ago. First came to mind was Harvey Martin, badass defensive end from the team in the 70s, and then also Eric Williams, badass offensive tackle from the teams in the 90s. Two players I was very fond of. They were both, borderline all pros, all stars, whatever you want to call them. But just there was the style of play. They were just nasty dudes that I was glad to have on my team. You always want those guys that are, play a little bit of an edge to them. So I did like them both, and that's what came to mind when we said 79. I could probably go to 100 with the Cowboys, but
Well, it's been tough. The offensive lineman, I got to admit, we're a little short on the offensive lineman. I'm pretty sure when we get to the 80s, we won't have to go all day with the Cowboys. I mean, starting with Jerry Rice is probably a pretty easy pick for next week, but I'm sure you'll have some 80s and 81. I'm sure you'll have some stuff. But,
I got one in my mind that I'm gonna demand in the 80s, but not all of just one probably.
Fair enough. We can talk about that as they come. And there's a lot of 88s out there. There's a lot of, if that's what I'm an 88 guy, a couple of guys, but that's not the one I was leaning. I would give up. There's one I'm gonna in the news recently that I'm gonna certainly insist on when it comes to it. But we don't need to get into that at this point. We could take it when we get to there.
Right,
anyway, I looked it up a little bit, and just for those out there, Rosie Brown was an NFL Hall of Famer that played for the Giants, and he was. Let's see. It says after being he was drafted by the Giants in 1953. After being named to the Pittsburgh Courier's 1952 Black All-America team, over his career, Brown received all NFL team honors for 8 consecutive years. Was a 9-time Pro Bowler selection and helped the Giants win a championship in 1956. So there's a little history for you, just in case anybody's looking.
Yeah. No one cares. He was on the Giants. We had 2 Cowboys. We're good.
They probably didn't even. I don't think they had the Cowboys at that. Did they have the Cowboys in 1950?
The Cowboys been there. Yes, they were one of the original teams. I think. Well, no, I think there's 60 something years, so maybe not in 53, right? I don't know.
All right.
61 years, I think, is this year. So no, they were not.
Speaking of the Cowboys, seems like we're speaking of the Cowboys a lot. Webb, you got some bad news today.
We're really not speaking. We never really talk about the Cowboys compared to the Saints. It's probably like 98% to 2%. And then we probably talk about the Jets more than we talk about the Cowboys, as a matter of fact.
Okay, well, I'm going to give
go ahead.
Yeah, I know you had some sad news today. One of your all-time favorite Cowboys is hanging up the cleats as a Raider, but hanging up the cleats.
He's going to sign a one-day contract like they do. He'll be in a Ring of Honor. Jason Witten's been a stud forever. I don't know if you can see behind. I got the no helmet game thing behind me. I'm sure you can't see it. Stud, ridiculously classy players. He did a ton of shit for the community when he was there. A great story, like he's a victim of like domestic abuse. Not him, but his mother was a victim of domestic abuse when he was young. Blah blah blah. Anyways, crazy, great, all-time class guy. Put that together with a class, first ballot Hall of Fame career. Not the gaudiest of numbers, but love him. It's been just a quick story. Indulge me for 1 second here. Parcells drafted him in the 3rd round or something, and he broke his jaw. I don't know, in the 2nd or 1st game, and he couldn't, right? So he draws wires up, so you can't eat. So to do his Parcells, like, you got to make some weight. You got to make sure I got to. So to get on the the scale, he put like 4 or 5 rolls of quarters in his pockets, in his pants, to get on the scale and make sure that he was up to some kind of decent playing weight. And then there's also another time when he had like a lacerated spleen, and he played the next week too. But Jason, just a stud. Love him.
Right. And any football fan, I like to hate the Cowboys, but any football fan, you got to have the utmost respect for Jason Witten. In fact, Webb, when we went to the Cowboys game, you dragged me to the playoff game.
Out of my mouth here. Yeah. Go ahead.
Right. What I was able to wear one jersey to the Cowboys game. I had to be a Cowboy fan for the day. Whose jersey? I got the Jason Witten.
Yes, you did. I wish. Of course, I don't save any pictures. I'm on like the 7. But I had several. I know you did take some shit. That was a down year for the Saints. For the Saints that year, but yes, you did. You were sporting your Jason Witten jersey all day that day, and you wore it well. I'll give it to you. You wore it well.
It was even a little dirty by the end. I hit the ground. I probably hit the ground a couple times.
We were rolling around there. There's no other shit that went down there. That's all right. There are no pictures of that.
Actually, I think I do have a picture somewhere on my phone of us standing at the Cowboy Stadium with me with my Witten jersey. I'll see if I can find that one. So
I remember sending a bunch, but again, like I'm on phone number 9 since then, so who knows what happens to those pictures.
Right. One thing's for sure. I would just wish Witten could play forever, Webb. You know why? Because it would mean that he didn't have to go to the Monday Night Football booth ever again. As good of a player as he was as bad of boring as an announcer as I could imagine. I know you're a fan. You love all these guys.
Listen, we're a fan of what we're all a lot of different things, but I like to consider myself a good father. Doesn't mean I'm a good basketball player. I'm a good whatever. Jason Witten was a hell of a football player. That doesn't make him a good, doesn't make him a good color, play-by-play guy or a color analyst. So I'm glad. I was, it was a cringeworthy. I would never come on here and say I didn't, a bad word about him, but it was cringeworthy. I'll say that at this point.
Fair enough. Well, moving on. Well, we had a lot of guys put into different slots in the NFL. A lot of openings come up. The Eagles got their coach. I think that was the Colts offensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Let's see. Matt Stafford, obviously looking for a trade. Like a lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers and what might happen to him moving forward.
Let's start with what's going on with the coaching carousel, the hirings. It seems to me that, first of all, Smith, let's talk about the age of these guys. Now that we're elder statesmen, I have an AARP card. I don't know if you know that. If I do, you do, or you should if you don't. Anyway, how old do you got to be a head coach? How old is the dude from what's his name? Sirianni? He's not 40 for sure. And there's a couple guys that are just insanely young, like almost, offensively young, that are getting these jobs. Now, I'm not an ageist, but I don't know that when and how you can get qualified and what qualifies you just based off of a couple years of some type of success where you get these jobs. So I don't know. That to me is odd, but again, I'm not against it. If they're successful, you got to start somewhere, but seems like a reach.
Well, it's a copycat league, right? So you got the guy at the Rams had some success. A couple of these other guys. So now all of a sudden,
He's good.
Yeah, obviously he brought his team to the Super Bowl in his first couple of years there. And I think the only thing we'll get into this a little bit later too. Jared Goff might be the only thing holding
we'll go back. We'll go back to that. Yes.
But I think it's a copycat league. So you got guys thinking, oh man, we want to find the next young hotshot something. Even to the point where like this kid that was just to not to be the homer all the time, but this kid Brady that 3 years ago he was an assistant.
Nothing. Right.
Like a peon assistant, not an offensive like an offensive assistant to the assistant.
Glorified intern.
In New Orleans. He goes to LSU for 1 year. They have a crazy year. Right. He goes straight to Carolina as an offensive coordinator. And now they're mentioning him on some of the names of some of these head coaching jobs. I just don't understand.
Well, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that. Where do you kind of pay your dues? They're talking about for the fucking Texans, they're going to fucking hire McNown, the quarterback, who was the quarterback. He's under contract right now as a quarterback. Like, I don't get it. And I hear it's a copycat league. McVay's had success, but they tried it first with the dude. What was his name? McDaniel from the Belichick tree. He went to, I think, the Broncos
Denver.
for their minute, but I'm not going to just defend or bash what the Rams did, but they're in a whole heap of fucking trouble, and they sold basically the farm there. If you remember, they had everybody on that team for that Super Bowl. Not wrong, they've been in the playoffs, but I mean, they took a home run and they got to the Super Bowl, so obviously that's a success, but. I don't know, and that dude's a good coach. Maybe that's the wrong example, but even Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona, that's we're now all of a sudden we're okay with that. They're borderline playoff. You know what I mean? Right. It's like okay, they don't suck. They're not the number one. They're not the worst team in the league. But if they're 6-10 or 7-9, somehow that's okay.
Right? They didn't make the playoffs. They're competitive. Right. They're more competitive now than they were before. But right.
It's not a layup, but you.
And then you have kind of the flip side of the coin, Webb. Dan Campbell, who was also off the Saints tree, goes to Detroit. And did you see? I posted this on our Facebook page. Did you see his accept his speech?
Here we go. Woo-hoo.
Oh, Wager Maker Express coming through.
Yeah, gotta stop for that. Listen, man, I love this. He's a Cowboy dude. He's got a little bit of head coach experience, and head coach to me is you need to manage the game in terms of game management, like timeouts and shit like that. But you need to be like a CEO. I don't need my guy to be, I want get a great coordinator to do the O, get a great coordinator to do the D. You need to be this, and this is what I want. I want a leader. I want a guy. That's why I like the Jets hire the dude Saleh or whatever, however you pronounce it. I want a leader of men. And for this dude to walk in, Dan Campbell talk about, to do the shit that he said, that's what you want. You want your defensive, first of all, you want your defenses fired up. You want your O-linemen fired up, and then you got to get to, and then you get the QB behind you, and it don't matter. You could win with Jim McMahon. You could win with the dude who won down there with the Rams, with the Ravens that year, Trent Dilfer. You get some badass motherfuckers ready to play for you, and you'll be all right. You'll be competitive, and that's almost what you need to be in that division, especially with Brady getting old and him whining.
Right. I mean, we've seen time and time again that in the NFL, teams can turn it around in no time. Every team has talent. There's only a few Mahomes out there. There's one Mahomes. There's only a certain amount of guys, but every team has talent on a roster. It's the teams that play together, that play hard every down. I think about the Tennessee Titans. You don't think of them as the most talented team, but the last few years under Vrabel, they come to play when they play. They get knocked out. They got a big hard-nosed running back, and they play hard. That's it. Tannehill is nothing special. Their defense is nothing special, but they come out, they play smart, they play hard, and but it's a double-edged sword. When you come out and talk as hard as Dan Campbell talks, sometimes the NFL and the rah-rah NFL coach is a little different in the NFL than it is in college. So you got to watch. We'll be watching to see how this turns out. The Mike Ditka coach worked out good under in Chicago, but it didn't turn out too good in New Orleans when he moved on down here.
Yeah, I didn't see this rah-rah. For me, it just came off genuine, man. He just was like, listen, dude, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not, it was funny. He made the joke that they thought he was like the hot young, there's some hot young assistant named something Campbell. And they're like, oh, I think, I just showed up. Maybe they thought the other guy was going to come. So, right there, he's winning me over. So that, that's half the battle. He win me over. So,
right. I'll give you this. The most important thing about it, more than anything he said, and the most important thing for any of these coaches, is it was authentic. What he said, whether it was over the top or coach speech or whatever, that shit was
right.
It was him. It was his personality.
Right.
He wasn't playing a game.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Right. Yeah. Right.
He wasn't playing for the camera. No, he wasn't playing a game. That was the dude. That's just who you're going to get. And this is Detroit. This is who you're going to get for a few years now. So enjoy it. So we'll see how it turns out.
And you know what, Smith, too, it worked well with that. It's kind of a blue collar. And he called it all out. He said the right shit. He's like, listen, we're down and out. Fuck that. We're not down and out. We're going to come up and we're going to bite you in the knee or whatever he said. And then we're going to hit us again. We're going down. We're going to bite you in the other knee. And you know what? We're going to be the only one standing. I loved it. I mean, I'm rooting for him. I hope that they do. I have no skin in the game for them success. I'm rooting for him. I love the authenticity. I like, Smith, it seems like it's so far and, few and far between. Any of these guys get it. You know what I mean? At least there's a real person out there that's doing it. And I think he deserves it. He certainly deserves a shot. I can only imagine what the interview was like, but good for him, man. Kudos. You know what? I hope they win, and I hope good for him, and I hope there's more like him.
Right. It's just who knows how it's going to turn out, but at least you get the feeling like he's going to do it his way, and it's either going to work or it's not. And he's going to if it doesn't work out, he's going to go his way. That's
right.
All,
he's living and dying and true to himself. And like I said, I couldn't have said it better. It was authentic. He believes it, and that's all. I mean, you know what? That's half the battle, dude. It's half the battle.
Yep. So moving on, we got some of the quarterback carousel. I guess Haskins had a little sit down with Tomlin. Looks like Haskins is going to go to Pittsburgh. Whether or not he's going to be just designated as a backup in the beginning, I don't think they're going to put too much on the kid's shoulders. But maybe Tomlin. I think a lot of people agree this kid's got some athletic ability, some quarterback athletic ability, but needs to be more professional. It seems like from just the rumor mill around town about when you get to the office, how you do in the office and what you're doing. Maybe Tomlin can get through to this guy and give this guy a chance. We talked about that somebody was going to give him a chance. It might be a good fit up there with Tomlin.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things I want to comment on this. I talked about it with the boys over the weekend. I was with Johnny Morgan, Belfi, and Nick. We're all for giving dudes second chances. He was kind of drafted. He was overdrafted. I don't think there's any question about that, and he acted unprofessionally. But you know what? You get smacked in the mouth. As long as you learn from it, I'm all about that. That's what it's all about. You're a young kid. You're immature. Geez, the shit I did, shit I still do. I'm embarrassed to even talk about. So if he made some mistakes, no problem. Is you're going to learn from it and grow. I think where we're giving too much credit is to Tomlin. That organization is still living on its 70s reputation. That may be. May not be the best phrase, but that's like the inmates running the asylum there. Ben Roethlisberger is not, he went from an asshole to finding God, which in my book is completely ridiculous. They had AB there who was just complete prima donna and just other stuff that went down. So I'm not sure that that's the best place, but it seems like he's a little bit humbled, and I'm rooting for him. I'm learn some professionalism. Good for him. I have no ill will towards him whatsoever.
Right. No, I agree. We'll see how it turns out. And like you say, it like Tomlin gets this reputation as a real disciplinarian almost or something. But the more you look at some of these things between the Le'Veon Bell situation and then Antonio Brown and then the thing with Juju Smith-Schuster and the TikTok dancing on the thing, and obviously Ben Roethlisberger, of course, like you say, found God. Talk about authentic and unauthentic.
Right. About douchebag and not a douchebag.
Listen, I'll rape some chicks, but I found God now, so it's all good. So,
we're all forgiven. Forgiven.
Hey, look, nothing if it's not proven. These are out
allegedly.
Right. So he found God now. So, but good luck to him. So Matt Stafford, Webb, that's big news. Also, we talked about
before we move on. Let's talk about whiners and kind of douchebags. Let's bring it to Aaron Rodgers. He's famous, right, for saying that everything is like they take everything he says as clickbait. And he doesn't even know. He claims not to know what the phrase, and I'm doing some air quotes here, clickbait is. Okay, Aaron. So when you went to that press conference and said, I'm not sure, or whatever he said, did he not know? I'm asking, did he not know that was clickbait? I mean, is there a hard, let me, before you even answer me, is there an easier place in the NFL to play quarterback than Green Bay?
No, because people love you. People are going to love you there. It's part of this. Right. But let me ask you this. So are you talking about his statement about going for it on fourth down, saying that wasn't my decision? No. Or are you talking about saying, I don't know if I'm going to be here next year?
First of all, both are douchebaggery. But the second one, the one about next year is just absolute clickbait. You know what? Fuck you, Aaron. You have are you telling me you couldn't audible out of that? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. Or go for it. I got you. Yeah, I don't know. He's an asshole.
Right. So, I mean, it seems like every year it gets like people talk about Aaron Rodgers as being one of the best quarterbacks of our time. And I think physically he's as gifted almost as anybody we've seen in a long time. But it just seems like something. And look, losing in the NFC Championship, it happens. It was a close game. But just, I don't know. There's a reason why they pick up quarterback and thinking about life after. Aaron Rodgers, and even though why he's still slinging the ball around and playing in his prime, and obviously in the beginning, just the coach obviously didn't get there's just something off there with Aaron Rodgers, or it seems like he would have more rings, he would have more something. I don't know. And every year you hear about how he's got nobody to play with, and meanwhile he's got one of the best wide receivers in the league. He's got one of the better running backs in the league. I don't know. I just something's not right.
Bakhtiari, every year he's got two of the best linemen in the year. I mean, granted Bakhtiari was out, but it's funny. It's almost like, if it's, whatever you want to say, if it's whatever the phrase is, if it walks like a duck and it quacks, then it's a duck. So if he's bitching and he's every year, then he's a fucking bitch. You know what I mean? And like I said, there's a reason why they got a quarterback in their back pocket here.
Right. If they always if there's smoke, there's fire. Whenever
right.
you always hear about this dude being a dick, you always hear about him being a dick, and maybe it's just a dick. Right.
And McCarthy out of town is still not good enough.
Now, that being said, let's talk a little bit about the NFC Championship game. Really good game. Tampa Bay obviously got on top of them early on. Green Bay did a great job coming back. But the biggest issue I have in this, Webb, you got a new coach. Obviously, I think he's in his second year. They were right there. You got we talked about Aaron Rodgers. This dude, he's supposed to be up here. He's supposed to be with Mahomes and Tom Brady. And I mean,
the Cowboys had him. Let me just bring you up. The Cowboys had him 3rd and 27, and they lost the game.
Right.
So, I mean, and twice the Cowboys.
So you're down there. It was just to set up. It was just about 2 minutes, maybe 2 and change, maybe less. You're down there. I think they were trailing by within a touchdown, right? 4 points, yep. whatever, 4 or 5 points, whatever it was. And it's fourth. They got the ball, I think, the 6 or 8 yard line. They go ran a couple plays, didn't get it. So now it's 4th down, just almost a 2-minute warning. You got Aaron Rodgers. It's 4th down and goal from the 8. And your decision as a coach is to kick the field goal and then kick off to Tom Brady, where if Tom Brady makes 1 first down, he goes to the Super Bowl. And that's your decision. And regardless, if you go for it on 4th down there, you still need to stop Tom Brady from getting 1 first down. It doesn't change anything for your defense. You got to go. You don't give. I would think Aaron Rodgers has a 20% chance of making a touchdown some kind of way in that situation on 4th and goal from the 8. When you kick to Tom Brady, what are your chances of winning the game at that point with 2 minutes left in the game? I thought this was he gave the game away.
I mean, but the thing that the thing at 4th and goal. So they're not going to let you get in, is what I would say. So you're gonna have a bunch of dudes in the goal line. You might get to the 2, you might get to the 1, you ain't getting in. Now you kick the field goal, now you get the ball back, and now you need Aaron Rodgers to get the ball over the 50 or whatever, to the 3rd, whatever. So listen, man, I didn't agree with it, but I don't really know.
I think these coaches, they talk a lot, especially
they talk themselves out of wins.
Rodgers, the coach at Green Bay, he's one of those analytics fucking dudes.
Correct.
Right? And earlier in the game, even, they went for 2 when it wasn't a typical go for 2 situation. Correct. They didn't get it. So you're the Mr. But all of a sudden, when the season is on the line, you go, I just, man, and I don't know, maybe the analytics told them to not go.
That's what it is. Yes, the analytics said the odds are you're going to kick it there, get it back, kick another field goal, and he win.
But that's
what he's thinking.
You have to stop Tom Brady in 1 3-play down anyway. If he gets 1 first down, but why wouldn't you want to stop?
That's what he's saying. But
stopping him at the 8-yard line, you're getting the ball at the 50 anyway. It's the same difference yardage.
But you need a touchdown versus a field goal.
Yeah, but you get the ball at the 50 instead of at your own 20, which is once you kick off, and it's I think you have to
get it.
Ball down the same amount of length. I don't know. I just thought if you have, and look, hey, number one, by the way, congratulations. You kicked ass on the fucking championship games things yet last week. We went 3-0. We had Kansas City. We had Kansas City. We had Tampa Bay, and we had the over in the Kansas City game. That moved us on Sports Watch Monitor to number 6 of postseason NFL. So we're number 6.
And I told you, I texted you this. We had both of those games on lockdown. That we had them pinpoint. We knew exactly what was going to go on. So, 30 years of doing this bullshit, at least one, paid off one weekend.
Once in a while, we get it. Once in a while, we called those. I'll give you credit. I was a little wishy-washy, and that was
we go live and die. We ride or die. Me and you. That's it. It's not me. No you.
I was rooting for Tampa Bay, but I just felt like you got Aaron Rodgers. You go try and score a touchdown. You get a pass interference. You get defensive holding. Something can happen. I don't know.
Yes, of course, anything could happen. But I got to be honest. I was in the car at that point, so I didn't really see exactly what happened. But I get why. I mean, the thing is, you couldn't get a first down. You need a touchdown, and at that point, 3 points get you within under a field goal. So and like you said, you have to stop them anyway. So why not?
Right.
I don't know that I'd necessarily. I definitely did. I would have went for it. Yeah, like you said. I'm giving it to the guy,
right?
This quarterback.
I got to put it this way: if Arians and Tom Brady were in the same situation, what do you think they would do?
Well, that's different.
All right.
I mean, that's a what do they call them? Millennials versus old school dude that drinking beer in the parking lot. Yeah, come on.
Okay. Well, one of the guys is going to the Super Bowl, and the other ones are. Man, I wish I would have.
There's a lot. There's more than one play in that game. More than one play.
Certainly. And Tom Brady, he had a great first half. I thought, man, he hit on some passes, unbelievable throws early. It was like they were taking away the short passes, and he had to go over a top on some. And there was the first drive or two, man, every third down, man, he was completing a pass. It was unbelievable.
Yep.
But again, he did throw 3 picks in the second half, so that's what kind of tightened things up. They had a few chances to really put the game away.
Well, now we're. I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth here on both these issues that we just discussed. For that first, I was with the boys, Johnny and Nick and Mike. He was dropping like ridiculous, like he was almost shooting foul shots.
Yeah.
On those couple of dimes to Mike Evans. That one pass though, the touchdown. I don't know what the cornerback could he have jumped. Could he have jumped earlier? Like, are you kidding me? That was horrendous. Now in the second half, I'm going to put it right back to. I'm going to lob it right back over to the great. My same argument that I'm going to give you with Drew Brees. The guy gives you 3 fucking picks, and you can't do anything with it, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, Mr. Best quarterback in the universe. I mean, you're going to bring it down to one play, but you're going to throw your coach underneath the fucking bus in a heartbeat. But right. You get 3 fucking picks. You don't do dick. Come on, man. What is there? What? And what is it? Are you ever going to take some responsibility for? Listen, I didn't get it done either.
Right. It's never was my fault. Never was my fault. No, you're right. And then what crazy transaction before the half. It was all Tampa Bay at that point still, I believe. And Tampa Bay kind of, I think, they picked off Rodgers right before the end of the half after Brady threw an interception. I think they picked it off back, and you think they're kind of setting up for a field goal. And Tom Brady goes over the top right before the half. Unbelievable set of downs right there. And then both teams go into the locker room. Just one team's demoralized, the other team knows they got it at that point.
And it's funny, we've been kind of waiting, all year for Brady to kind of click with these guys and click with Arians. And it's funny. I think at that point, both of them just kind of looked at each other like, let's go. This is it. We're going for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's give it a shot. We're too far away. They were like too far away for a field goal, and it was almost not enough time to even throw an out pass. There's I think it was 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it, let's make it look like that, and send that little dude down the sideline, and maybe they'll fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly. So 2 old school boys like, listen, man, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, and you're a little bit. You go deep.
And so it's one thing to decide to do it, and it's another thing to just drop a dime on the dude. Like, first of all, he beat him. But how many times do we see games and dudes 5 yards past the cornerback and the ball just goes sailing past them in that situation? And you're like, oh, man, he had him. not Tom Brady, bro. He dropped that shit in there man, it was beautiful play.
Everything, like you said, sun, moon, stars, all line. Like they both were ballsy. They made the call. The kid runs the route. The coach all behind it, and Brady just fucking drilled it. Boom. Awesome. I mean, it was great to see.
When you're on Tampa, great to see.
Goddamn right. Goddamn right. Getting
So
to me, baby.
Move on to the next game. Bills, no disrespect. Josh Allen had a great year. Diggs, those guys had a great year. They just outmatched Kansas City's better team than them. Kansas City did what they do sometimes in playoff games and look a little shaky early on. And Webb, going into the game, we found out, not only where we knew Mahomes was dealing with that concussion issue, found out he had turf toe too. So like, oh shit, man, maybe these guys are going to get after him a little bit. Mahomes is unfreaking believable.
Again, I'm not going to break my arm, pat myself on the back. It's not the hardest thing to do is pick Patty Mahomes here, but we called it, dude. That kudos, good job. The fucking Bills are going to come back next year, experienced, hungry, angry, but you're in some rare air, man. You're in deep water, dude, playing with those guys in their spot. They've been in that position. They've lost to Tom Brady on a fucked up call. They just were not losing that game. They're never. That's the thing with this team. They're never out of it. They could score. I mean, it's crazy how they can. It's even beyond college almost. But very impressed with the Bills. Good for them. They're long from done. They seem like they have. They got a quarterback for damn sure. So good for them. But again, just. Mahomes is different. That's an outlier. That's a unicorn, whatever you want to call him. Dude is crazy. Turf toe, nothing. It's funny. All week long, we were going back. We were all on the text with a bunch of the guys. Just, hey, come on now. Why are we playing this game? Right. He's playing. Let's just, and I think it is even by like Wednesday, like he's playing. Okay, good. Right. And kudos to the NFL for that. Let's cut the bullshit. There's no nonsense. The dude's playing. We need him to play. The kid wants to play. He's playing.
Right. And it was early on too, and I think there was one point, Webb, when like Kansas City had a couple drops and they were down. I think what was it, 10-0 or 9-0 because they missed an extra point. Yeah. And I said, yeah, but Mahomes is playing like Mahomes. Like Mahomes was moving, he was making a dude miss and then hitting a dude. It hit a dude in the hands and he dropped it. I was like, yeah, but. And we're like, damn, it's 9-0. And we're like, yeah, but fucking Mahomes is playing like Mahomes. They're gonna be fine. They're going to be fine.
We said, too, like, oh, yeah, okay, so now Kelsey's got his drop out of the way, and so does Tyree. So, okay, so they're not dropping anything the rest of the game. Right. This is big trouble.
Right. Hill had a drop, and they dropped a punt. Yep.
The kid tried. Well, yeah. That's what we even said. Like, they gave him a gift, and they're still only up whatever it is. Like,
right. It's still only 9. It's 9 points, and we're laying 3. We're not laying 8 or something. We're laying 3.
Right. It's not we're not laying 28. It's not Alabama.
Right. So good picks, man. Like I say, it's sportswatchmonitor.com. We're number 6 out of 50-some handicappers for the playoff, postseason NFL. So this week will be important. We'll be getting into our picks next week. Just while we're talking about it right now, we'll talk about our picks a little bit this week because I think we have a little bit of a disagreement here about who we're going to take next week. So our official pick will be next week.
We'll figure it out. Long way to go.
But next week we're going to have a good time again. I talked to our friend Sasha, the psychic, today, and so we'll try and get her back. We're going to try and get her back next week. Maybe we'll bring the chickens out of retirement for one last.
Get a rooster.
For one last Super Bowl pick, and then we'll have our own pick. So we'll have some fun in our Super Bowl show next week. So
Debbie will make a pick for us. We'll probably have a Super Bowl pick.
Dig it. So maybe we'll even ask Sharon about the Gatorade since she got that.
There we go.
So
great girl.
So we can move off. I want to talk about we had a question from Quentin Ross on our Facebook talk group the other day about he's got 2 questions. Well, since we're in football, we'll ask about it first. So Matt Stafford now is looking to get out, sounds like, of Detroit. Do you have any possible leads on where he might go or what good landing spots for him?
First of all, kudos to both the franchise, the team, whatever, and Stafford. It's time to go. It didn't work. He's been there 12 years. You and I were at the game when you had the Jason Witten jersey on. They couldn't even beat the Cowboys that were down that year, kind of anyways. They have really, I don't know if they've done aside from giving him $100 million, I'm not sure they did the best they can for him. I think they planned on having, Calvin Johnson there. That was kind of an unexpected retirement on them a little bit. So they're going to trade him, Smith, which is smart for him and them. Where's he going to go, right, is the question. So, I mean, I have a couple off the top of my head. I called them early. I don't want to seem like I'm just reading the ESPN Insider or anything like that, but there's a couple places he's going to go, and I got one kind of a little bit of an outlier. So what do you think?
I don't know, man. I think he'd be a good landing spot. How old is Stafford? It seems like he's been around forever, but he's only 32 or something.
Yes, he's got 2 years remaining at like 45 total. So it's like 22 and 23 on a contract. So he's way cheaper than any quarterback out there. That's where they're salt.
But I think anybody who wants an experienced, solid, guy with a cannon, guy that knows the game. But, I don't know, man. They just have never had success. So it's hard to say, man, I don't know. I mean, I think he'd be an upgrade on men. I mean, I think you still put him around the 10 range of what's better quarterbacks or what. I mean, he's an improvement. He'd probably be an improvement over 20 teams minimum.
I've killed him a lot. I've been never win a playoff game. And that was more that was more off of his contract versus his, I don't know, was his ability or his skill, whatever you want to say. I'll give him this. He's a fucking gamer. Dude's tough as hell. He's played with some crazy injuries. Even this last game, week 17, whatever, he had some really bad shit going on. He came out there. He's a baller. So I'll give him that. He's a no-brainer for a couple teams, Smith. I'm going to give you a few, and then I'll give you 2 or 3, and then we can kind of kick it back, and I'll give you one. First of all, the first team that comes to mind is the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback. That there's no quarterback even under. I don't know if they have a quarterback under contract. Brissett is a free agent, and so is Rivers is not coming back. That's done. They tried it. He did valiant effort, both by the team and by him. He's not beating Mahomes, regardless. So there's no reason to bring Phillip Rivers back. So I think everybody knows that. Now, what would it take? And let's preference that by saying that let's assume that the Lions are going to do solid. They're not going to trade him to a team has no chance of winning. They're not going to send him to I don't know, the Texans or wherever. So they're going to give him a shot. They're going to trade him to a decent team. So who's the best team out of those teams? First of all, the Colts. They have no now with the Colts trade. You got to give up your first round pick, no doubt, minimum. And that's what I think, Smith. What do you got there? The 12th pick, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Now, for the Colts, is Colts the 12th pick? No. They made the playoffs. Right, well, we're not going to worry about facts right now.
Yeah.
It's not as high as some others. It's not as high as some others, but maybe they throw in something else. I don't know. That would if I am Matt Stafford, that's where I want to go. You got a good offensive line, you got a couple of weapons, and you got a good defense. That's where I want to go. The second team is the San Francisco 49ers. Now, why would you do that? Stafford would do that because he's got a good team. They were just beat up, devastated by injuries this year. Why would you do that if you're the Lions? You can take back Garofalo, assemble their contract. At least you have a quarterback to jog out there for the next couple of years. You have your bridge guy, and you get their first round pick. And I think that's higher than probably anyone else I'm going to suggest. The Colts pick is not high. It's going to be so. I don't know. And the Colts just traded They did the same thing last year. They traded a first-round pick for Brenson Bruckner or whatever, or DeForest Bruckner or whatever. It worked out for them, but they are literally have no quarterback, so they need to figure something out. The other team here, I don't know if is the New England Patriots. Mm-hmm. They have a high pick. They can, I'm sure, if a phone call from Bill Belichick to make it done. Space, et cetera. We could even sign your buddy Galloway. He's a receiver on the Lions. That's a receiver. That's another one. And then the last, maybe the dark horse, I would say, would be the Washington Redskins. Why would he go there? They have solid defense. They are at this point, probably, they're the best team in the division. Ron Rivera, stand-up dude. I'm sure if you had an interview with Ron Rivera, it would be impressive. And then they do have that a good receiver. They would need some help offensive line wise, but I think that's a possibility as well.
Yep. All good ones. Always, I think that you got to include the Patriots. Certainly, the Patriots are going to be in the market for a quarterback this year. They get.
He's never afraid. He loves to trade. He loves to trade, dude.
Right.
And so they get a bunch of guys coming back, dude. A lot of those guys opted out. Gerald Mayo, the two, I think one of the McCourties, and then the dude Eugene Chung. So they're going to be decent next year without a quarterback. And maybe they could Stidham could go back over to Detroit. So at least they could kind of sell it to the fan base a little bit that you at least can jog somebody out there.
Yep. So all good possible spots. Like I say, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, we talked about lots of these things moving on.
Let me say this: he's not going to the Saints, Smith, and there's a couple of reasons why. They have nothing to offer. You're going to give the 26th pick because close to the Colts, but you can't pay. You still have to pay. He's not going to the Saints. So our Saints fans, it's just not going to happen. I'm telling you, you're going to jog out both your guys this year, going back with the same quarterbacks you had, unless you can swing the Darnold deal, which may work.
Well, I think you're right. I think the Saints are pretty much with the salary cap situation they're in. Then I think they're content going with Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston and some combination of the two, maybe not a combination. I don't know exactly, but I feel like from everything we've heard down here, Sean Payton thinks Taysom Hill is something. Now, he went 3-1 as a starter. It wasn't real pretty, but real pretty in old school football type stuff. I mean, in the days of Lamar Jackson's and stuff, football's played a little differently, and you can win different ways. And Sean Payton certainly can. And Sean Payton can certainly build a team around someone's skills and make it difficult to play. Now, whether or not it's hard for somebody to play against it in 4 games, and whether or not a whole season of film is 2 different things. But I feel like the Saints think they have their guys in the building. Now I'm waiting to see. A lot of people down here are hoping they re-sign Jameis, but I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with that. But while we're on this subject, I've mentioned how much my love for the Drew Brees. That being said, Drew, make the announcement. Mickey Loomis comes out the other day and says, "Look, we can't really do anything until we know for sure if Brees is leaves or." Listen, Drew, do it. It's time.
I mean, what's the big secret? Right.
It's time.
Is Britney waiting to announce it? Britney Spears? I mean, Britney Bruce? Does she need to get on? Does she need more face? That's what he is. He's trying to get his wife some more Instagram followers.
Right.
Brittany,
my husband was really hurt. My husband was bringing up that. Listen, the wives should not stick up for their husbands on social media or in life or on the radio. We've been through this before. Kurt Warner's wife did this a little bit. I think there's been some players where their mom got involved on the sports radio at different times and sticking up for. Look, this is a difficult business, but you're getting paid $26 million a year to deal with it. Just keep your mouth shut. Look, no disrespect to Brittany Breeze, but
Brittany, just kids to the mall.
You got your job. You go raise funds for
right. Go support some charity
things, and don't let Drew Brees has got to be thick-skinned enough to hear some things for the $26 million a year and be thick-skinned enough that it doesn't get to you. I'm sure it gets to you. I'm sure it can get to you, and I'm sure it's
the
difficult.
Phone off. How about you shut off Twitter? How about that? Would that be a fucking amazing thing? Just collect your money. Go take your kids and go help out some COVID people. How about that, Brittany? There you go. Shocker.
All right. That being said, all right, let's talk a little baseball, Webb. First of all, Hank Aaron, our thoughts, prayers to the family, all that kind of stuff. Icon. He really was, in his prime a little before our time, but we can still see. You can still picture the video of him hitting the big home run to break the record, and the 70s dudes running out, slapping him on the back or whatever it is.
That's the best ever. That dude be shot now. Be shot.
Right. Well, we've talked about that before. Remember when we were young, it was like the Morgana, and she would come out and kiss the dude.
Oh, yeah.
Can't do that style of stuff.
No, not even. Yeah, she'd have to come out in a hazmat suit, 6 feet away and blow a kiss.
Right. But anyway, Hank Aaron, obviously icon, tremendous player and great person, all that kind of stuff. So which brings us to your boy up there in Chicago, Webb, the Cubs. He had kind of Bryant. really came out the other day and said, "Listen, man, it's just hard. Life is hard, bro.
Life sucks when you're since you're not you were the first I think you were literally the first pick out of high school and signed for I don't know $19 million. And I'm sure I might not be sure, but I think his high school years were okay. If you're Chris Bryant, you're hitting 800 at your high school and you have since the time you're I don't know what you were a sophomore in high school. I don't know. It's at 14 years old. There's 30 scouts from 30 different baseball teams, professional baseball teams at your games. I think you're doing okay in high school. So now he's swole, Smith. He's swole. He's upset.
Right. He just doesn't feel it anymore. It's been a rough year last year. I don't know what he wants, what he's asking for. I don't know what the deal is. I'm trying to find what his exact quote is. I can't find it right.
I had it. I was infuriated. I almost drove off the road. This is the poster child for fucking douchebag, asshole, entitled piece of shit. Baseball isn't fun. I don't know if I want to do this. I might get traded. Are you kidding? I think it said he only made, maybe it was from getting $19 million from that. He only made he settled for $19 million. That's what the quote. He settled for $19 million last year. Are you out of your corn box? Are you kidding me?
And they didn't even play a real season last year.
Right. How hard was it? How many games? Even a full season, 162 games, and then a couple. You do some fucking spring league or whatever, Cactus League or Pineapple League, whatever they call it, or so that's right. And then if you make the fucking playoffs, that's enough. God forbid you get paid for the playoffs. It's extra money. I can't. And not only that, Smith. The biggest thing when I worked there, all these guys get per diem, so they go on the road. They can handle the fucking 1,000, whatever it is. I think it was 65 for dinner and $100 a day, not game day. You're on a 10-day road trip. You're getting $1,000 cash in an envelope off of the plane.
Right.
It sickens me. I can't deal with these assholes. I can't.
Like you don't have to spend any of your millions on a day-to-day basis for anything. For anything, you know?
Even healthcare, food during the games. You have a chef.
Right.
And then when you go away, they give you money, cash. Who knows what you do with it? It can't even it's untraceable. It's cash. It's sick. I hope now, like you just made, like I cannot root harder against this dude.
And now, so you had a good question from Quentin Ross again. He talks about the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame came out, Webb, and that this year's Hall of Fame possibilities nobody got voted into the Hall of Fame this year, which included Barry Bonds, it included Roger Clemens and a few other guys, and also next year I think is going to be Alex Rodriguez is eligible and Big Papi, but nobody got in this year. Clemens and Barry Bonds, obviously, and we've talked about Pete Rose a ton of times, different circumstances for Pete Rose, but these guys are guys that I don't know whether you should be in a Hall of Fame or not. To me, the biggest issue I have with the Hall of Fame and the way it gets voted on is it's a bunch of pencil neck geek writers that have this is their one time in their life that they can have power over somebody, and they can have power over a Roger Clemens and a power over a Barry Bonds. And to me, these guys were doing stuff in an era that it was commonplace. It was just part of the game at that time. Almost like if we talk about a safety in a Ronnie Lott type safety and be like, man, he's physical. And they say, well, man, you wouldn't have been able to do that stuff today as he did then. I don't know. It's just a different time. It was a different time.
I'm going to be pushed back on. The PED thing is different. It was obviously illegal. The Ronnie Lott scenario, he would be flagged and penalized, and that would stop. Right. So that's different. It was a more physical game there. The thing is, I cannot agree with you more that it's so subjective. Barry Bonds was a known asshole. He was rude and prickly, the whole, So how does that affect his play on the field? It shouldn't. So now he offends some writer. Now it's X amount of years later, and this dude is still pissed off because Barry Bonds was rude to him. So he's not going to vote him in. And you and I had this argument last or a couple weeks ago, the Dan Marino thing, and what's his name, Phil? It's all subjective. We can argue all day long. I'll show you stats. You show me stats. He did this. He did that. He won. He lost. He's good. He's bad. It's all subjective there's no way to tell. It used to be 300 wins. Well, maybe 300. Well, he had 299 wins. He had 302 wins. Is he good enough? Is he bad? He had 150 losses. Well, he only had 70 losses. It's so much nonsense. It's got to be some defined criteria. This is what gets in. And then the other thing is, why does someone have to get in every year? Where's that written down?
Right. And it's funny you bring up this. Number one, the Phillip Rivers, Dan Marino thing. Every person that responded on our Facebook page, they said Dan Marino. Just so you know, just so know. But certainly,
it's
better than Phillip Rivers. Better than Phillip Rivers.
That was our not says the stats. And no, it's not what was all right. Phil Rivers will be first ballot Hall of Famer. We'll see. 5 years from now.
We'll see. Dan Marino's better. And everyone that
he's about 10 or 12 games.
About 10 or 12 people that chimed in on Facebook agreed. Okay.
Well,
but that's not my argument here. I lost my train of thought about what I was getting. No, but you have to what I talked about with Phillip Rivers when I said he maybe shouldn't be in a Hall of Fame is you have to take each era on its own and the guys that they played with. At no point I thought that Phillip Rivers was like in the top 2 or 3 of the guys he played with. I thought he was in the top 5 many times.
Okay, now
but wouldn't you say? I mean, but Barry. But if we're going to do that, that's my criteria. Now, whether or not you want to leave somebody out because of the steroids, that's a personal problem. But to me, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens are no doubt the top of the heap of guys that they played with during their time. That's what I'm saying.
But they're known steroid abusers. So now that gives you an advantage over every other player you played with. So if I was taking steroids,
so Roger Clemens is the only guy on the field juicing up.
He percentage wise, no, maybe not the only one, but high. Yes. Well, I mean, yeah. And the only one who got caught.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's the answer. He was, yes. I mean, as far as in this conversation, he cheated. Other guys didn't. Same with Barry Bonds. Clearly, it gave them an advantage. Look at Barry Bonds' body. Look at Roger Clemens later in life. Look at Roger Clemens' anger on the mound. I mean, it's ridiculous. Sammy Sosa. Look at the other guy, McGuire. He had fucking steroid acne. I mean, it's crazy. Clearly, they were doing steroids, and 98% or 99% of the league wasn't. So, yes, that's completely different. If every player in the league is doing steroids, or if it was legal, that's even different story. If it was legal and you had a choice to take it or not, then you're still in. Yep. But if it's illegal, no.
So now the question is next year. So is Alex Rodriguez just never gets into the Hall of Fame? And then what about Big Pop? I don't remember Big Papi ever being did he get definite
no, I don't think so.
I don't remember him.
The knock on him was, they cleared the way for DHs. That was the only thing for him. And first of all, everyone loves a guy. He's a lock. He's in. There's no doubt.
That's the difference. So because you love the guy, now he's definitely in. But
it's all subjective, of course. But A-Rod's out.
Right.
A-Rod is out. He's the poster boy for a cheater. Can't. I mean, right? In 15 years, all these writers are dead, and everybody forgets about it. And dudes, kids that are, our grandkids look at the numbers. Like, why isn't this dude in it?
Right.
But I think it expires, right? So no, they're not in. None of those guys are in.
Yeah, I think this is the last year, if I'm not mistaken, that they're eligible to some of these guys. So anyway,
they're done.
I don't really give a shit. I've never been a big numbers guy as far as the baseball goes. I mean, I like baseball. I like the game itself. I've never been a big box score stats looking dude anyway. So,
I mean, especially when A-Rod was on the Yankees, he was the king of the 4-run homer when it was, or 3-run homer when it was 4-0 or something like that.
Right.
But listen, it can't, undoubtable great career, but he's not getting in. He's not.
Yep. All right. So let's just, a little recap. Like I said, next week we'll probably be having our, what you call it?
Super Bowl.
Our Super Bowl special and our psychic in here. We'll be having some fun.
It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be mayhem.
So all right. So I saw what your first impression of the game was. I think what do you have for a line there? I think Kansas City -3 and then 50.
56.5. I mean, my first jump off was Brady. I mean, maybe I saw 3.5. I mean, that's a huge half, as big as a half point would be. If it's 3.5, I would take Brady. I mean, it's hard to bet against Mahomes. I mean, that they're never done until that last second ticks off. 3 points is different. I don't know, man. It's tough. I think the difference, they will run the ball, talking about Tampa Bay. And that's going to hurt obviously the Chiefs a little bit. But again, it doesn't matter. They take the ball for 7-minute drive and run for a touchdown. Mahomes gets the ball and goes right back in 2 minutes or a touchdown. So, I mean, it's tough. I do like the over, I think. 56.5. That is high. But that's what, 28 each? I don't see that's crazy. Right. I mean, do you not?
I see easily this being 35, 31. I mean, right. This should be a shootout eventually. They might play it a little close to the cuff early on, but eventually it's going to be like, okay, if we got to score if we're going to win a Super Bowl, and so they do. So they make plays.
And I don't know. I mean, they're talking about, you love the Honey Badger, and they said he's going to do some shit with Brady, but what is he going to do to Brady that Brady's never seen?
Right. And so
they get AB back.
No, early on, like when I first saw the 3 or whatever, I was thinking Mahomes. Like, man, I have a hard time thinking Mahomes is walking off the field without getting a job done. But we're talking about Tom Brady, so I mean, it's kind of a man. I don't know what.
Well,
I don't know what to think.
I break it down an entire differently a team scenario. I mean.
Right.
Is Winfield playing? I think that's going to help. I mean, that's the thing. I think their defense is legit. Any help they can get in the secondary is certainly going to help them. And I think the left tackle is out. I mean, not that really matters for the Chiefs, but I think they're down like several tackles now.
Right. I think that left tackle, he had an Achilles, but I think he was out early in the game last week, and it didn't really. I didn't notice anything. Mahomes, if a dude came in, he made a miss, and
that's so, I think there was even a French dude that was their starting left tackle last year that opted out, COVIDed out, and they didn't really miss him. And so, I mean, I don't really know that matters with Mahomes, but they got players, dude. I don't know.
Tampa certainly has a better D. Tampa's got the running game that can be issues if they can get it going. But Kansas City is not that bad defense. I don't think they're awful defensively. Like some years Kansas City has had a great offense and they've been really bad defensively. I think they're okay. I think they're as good as Green Bay's defense, but it doesn't say much.
We're only asking for, right.
Hold them to 28. Can you hold them to 28?
Give me 45 minutes of good defense.
Stop them once in a while in the red zone, make them kick a field goal.
Right. So, and Brady is prone to pick. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's tough.
Right.
I mean, it's going to make me feel better as a number. I mean, but I don't know it's going to get off because, of course, it's going to. As soon as anyone sees it at 3.5, it's never going to 2.5. I'll tell you that.
Right.
That we know. Right. So, I mean, I don't know. I think I certainly think, like you said, it's going to be 14-14 at least at halftime. I would think. Pardon me. So I don't know that I think maybe the over. But someone told me this is the highest over ever. Can that be right?
For a Super Bowl? Yeah. For a Super Bowl? Is it? Could be. Man, it's like things are higher nowadays. Every year it lets it get a little higher.
Every Super Bowl, the Cowboys scored like 50 points twice, right? I mean, it used to be crazy that for a running. There was a year it was a blowout. It was like 40.
Right.
I don't know, Smith. Like I said, it's going to come down to I think. I would like to see somehow if I get to 56 or under. I'm certainly going to go over. I'm in 56.5. 3.5. I'm going. I'm going to go. I'm going to off 2 quarterback. Like you said, you look at one. How's Mahomes not going to win? You go, oh, it's by Tom Brady. So I don't know. I wish I had it better. I know it's something that's not a really good answer or an answer at all.
Well, we don't need an answer till next week, so we got to get a feel of this thing. Let's hash it out over the next.
Now, let me ask you this: does them playing it in Tampa Bay, is that an advantage at all?
I don't think it matters in a Super Bowl. It might be a disadvantage.
Well, they got. It said that Kansas City can only come in 2 days before. So I don't know if that is a disadvantage.
To me,
I don't know.
I think so that makes it, to me, Kansas City a little more like a business trip. And for Green Bay, they're going to be there's going to be Super Bowl shit. Florida's pretty open. There's going to be parties in town. There's going to be local fans wanting to get to the people, wanting to get to their team and wanting to, I think maybe they'll have a little more distractions than Kansas City will.
Yeah, this is almost old hat for the Chiefs at this point.
Right.
I mean, this is 3 years in a row, right? I mean, they lost to Brady. And not only that, they lost to Brady 2 years ago in that AFC Championship. Yeah.
And to be doing this in your own hometown where the parties are at and everything else, I mean, it's not that who knows?
It's just more pressure. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of shit. I mean, it's a lot. It's a tough one, man.
So if there was ever any doubt in life who the greatest of all time, I'm excited about the game. We got the GOAT versus the best in the game today. No doubt about it.
You said me about the turf toe. I was like, first of all, he's not going to feel anything for 6 hours. And second of all, it doesn't matter. He could throw it lefty, righty, left foot, right foot. Falling back, moving forward, running right, running left.
And that's what I mean. A big part of his game is moving around and buying those extra few seconds. And he was able to do it he looked a little hobbled, but he was still able fast enough to run around the defensive lineman and shit. You know what I mean?
Don't matter. And they're never out of it, ever.
Look at that game against, I think it was it the Texans last year that they got down a shitload of points. That's why this game that they got down 9-0, I was like, that's nothing. Right. It was the playoff game against the Texans last year, I think, that they got, or Tennessee or the Texans, Tennessee maybe.
Yeah.
And they got down a ton, and no big deal. No big deal.
Right.
We just got to go. Listen, let's get it together. Let's go take care of this.
Right. Touchdown. I think he scored 6. I think he scored 6 touchdowns in a row at some point.
All right. So everyone, just make sure you listen next week. We'll get together on Wednesday night next week and get us a good picks for. We'll get all into the props, all the crazy shit, Gatorade, how long the national anthem's going to be, all that kind of shit. So anyway, thank you, John Grove, for the bumper music. Thank you, C. Reilly, and I, Little Saint the Goat. Devin's going to tell you about YouTube right now.
Hey guys, it's Devin. Make sure you subscribe to the Wager Makers podcast on YouTube, like all their videos, and click that bell so that you turn on your post notifications and you never miss another video.
All right, thanks, Devin. And don't forget, you can listen to us on all the places you can get podcasts at. Don't forget, you can get our picks on sportswatchmonitor.com during the week for the NBA, NHL, NCAA basketball. Keep hitting us up. Thank you, Quentin Ross, for getting into and asking questions, and everybody else who gets into the Wager Makers talk group. You can get us on Facebook at the Wager Makers podcast, at the Wager Makers, on Twitter at the Wager Makers, and Instagram. And an email is thewagermakers@gmail.com. If you have any questions, I know like Thrive Fantasy, don't forget Wager Makers promo code. They'll have all kinds of Super Bowl props. If you want to ask us a lot of stuff like, hey, is Kelsey going to have more than 6 catches? Or man, email us. Let us know. Thewagermakers@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to touch it all. We'll have it on the show, or
we'll kick a show off with questions for sure.
Yeah, I'll directly tell it to you. So either one. So all right, thank you all for listening. Super Bowl's coming up. Let's win some money. Webb, take us out.
Brick by brick, baby. We are heating up. Follow us on College Hoops, NHL. We're getting it. We're there with the NHL and NBA. That's another story. But brick by brick. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank Will Bird, John Groh, Marty Johnson, everybody. Oh, before I forget, I want to thank everybody. We had something at my work. Had a little bit of a tragedy. A woman I work with tragically lost her son. I sent out an email, a text, to fill up a Super Bowl box. I had, 35 boxes filled in 15 minutes. I just want to thank everybody for a very heartfelt thank you for that. Went a long way. The woman was on our meeting this morning, just unbelievable, just crying, just thanking everybody, the outpour of support for her. So thank you everybody for that. That was awesome. It's I'm as cynical as you get. You guys all know that. But it's, I was impressed, honestly. So anyway, brick by brick, baby. We need, what do we need? We need Spotify. We need YouTube, people. Let's get it done here.
Welcome to the Wager Makers podcast with Webb and Smitt.
Yeah. Hey, shout out Wager Maker podcast.
Brick by brick, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here comes the Wager Maker
Here I go.
Express.
I hear y'all sick of losing money cause y'all don't know how to bet. Better hit that Wager Maker podcast with Smitt and Web. They gon' show y'all how to do this. Take these notes like y'all some students. Y'all can't seem to pick them right. Well, tonight y'all lucky night. It's that Wager Maker podcast. Wager Maker podcast. Wager Maker podcast. Your bookie getting sick cause we built this brick by brick. It's that Wager Maker podcast. It's that Wager Maker podcast. It's that Wager Maker podcast. Come and place your bets with that WM Express. Let's go.